Hi there, my name is Megan Lambert and I am starting a video series called Feminine Rising because my purpose is to support the rise of the feminine in all of us so that we can have more unity and equality inside of ourselves and have more fulfilling lives. So this first video is what is the feminine, because I think without that baseline understanding, none of the other videos really will make sense. So, and just take it with a grain of salt. This is not a prescription of how to live or life advice for everyone. It's just my perspective and my experience. So take what you like and leave the rest. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, we have masculine and feminine inside of all of us. Men have feminine, women have masculine, and then it's just two different types of energies. So the same way that batteries have a positive and a negative end, and they work together to create the electrical current, we have that both inside of ourselves and with people. So one person will usually play the feminine pole and one will play the masculine pole, and it can switch. So there can be some play there. So feminine. Well, actually let's start with masculine, because our world, it's undeniable that we live in a patriarchy. I come from the US, that's my predominant societal view, is we live in a patriarchy that tends to be male dominated. If you look at Congress and business, men have designed the world that we live in and tend to be in charge of it. So most of what we know is masculine. That's why this video series is about feminine rising, because I think to reach equality, we have to strengthen and grow and cultivate the feminine inside of all of us. So we'll start with masculine, the known world. Masculine tends to be very goal-oriented. It knows where it's going, it's on a mission, it has a direction to it, it's very efficient, productive, linear, can be quite analytical. So we'll think things through, like really strategize and plan. If you imagine like a war room where people are mapping out what needs to happen, that's the masculine. It has a lot of ideas, so the intellectual side of us tends to be our masculine. And the masculine likes categories. It likes things to be in groupings, to be organized, to be structured. It's our masculine. Our feminine tends to be more intuitive. So it's that gut sense. It's like, ooh, I think that's what we should do. That's the feminine. It's also spontaneous, more improvisational than planned. So if you think about like reading a script versus doing improv, improv would be the feminine. It's also more emotions and heart and body based. The masculine is very intellectual. Our feminine lives in our bodies, in our senses, and in our hearts. And then it's community. So it's the connection between people comes from our feminine. And then last but not least, it's desire. So it's those impulses, it's the feeling, the things that we know will give us fulfillment. So if you live a very masculine dominated life, for example, you may be very successful, achievement driven, productive, but you may feel like your life feels a little dry or flat. That's because it's missing the magic and the spark of the feminine. And we'll talk about how to do that. And the interesting thing is that how these play together. And so we need both. And there can be some play there inside of ourselves. And so, for example, I grew up very masculine oriented. Like I didn't mean to, but our world's masculine. And I realized, well, to survive, I have to be organized. I have to be logical. I have to be able to explain myself rationally. These are all masculine qualities. And a few years ago, I realized, I was like, I don't think I've cultivated my feminine very much. Like I had a very scheduled day. I'd go from point A to point B. I was ambitious, achievement-oriented, driven. I got promoted twice in 18 months. I was never late to work. But I was missing some of the sensory pleasures. Like I was missing that the joy, the desire, the fulfillment. And I had a coach once tell me, she's like, just sit down and eat your meal. Like enjoy it. Give yourself that. And she said, you spent a lot of time strengthening your masculine and not a lot of time cultivating your feminine or your relationship with her. And so I've been on a journey the last few years is like, how do I get to know my feminine and listen to my emotions and hear my intuition and start to grow that side of me. So that's my own personal journey. And The amazing thing to me about it is that each side has its own wisdom. So for example, my masculine is the one that helps me get through my day, like answer my emails, like organize things. If someone wants a special meal, my masculine will look up a recipe and cook it. My feminine is the one that brings the surprise into my day. So, for example, one of my friends is doing art today, and I was like, I want to do art. And so I just started making art, and I started drawing, and I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to draw. It's just going to come out of me. And it was unpredictable and exciting, and that is what I would say my feminine is. So my question to you is, which side of you feels more cultivated, your masculine or your feminine? And then what is that side asking for? You can leave a comment below with some thoughts.